Hey guys, back to another YouTube video. Today it's gonna be a update video. Now I got a bunch of projects I want to do some updates on, and I got a few new ones I'll go ahead and show off with it. And first thing I'll show is this Bowie knife I bought at a flea market a while back. And those who may know, like I said, I love collecting Arkansas style Bowie knives, and this particular one did not have much wrong with it. I reshined the brass pieces and reshined the leather and restained the wooden frame, and then, of course, repolished and resharpened the Bowie knife. And, of course, also restained the back and cleaned up the metal hooks right here and restained the leather string. Not much done to it, and I'm glad to have this in my collection. Next is on this my old 102 buck, one line, and my father was able to get me a buck sheath for it. It's not the original one, but it's still a buck sheath, and it'll do for now until I can find the original. Nice. Next is on this one I picked up at a pawn shop in the previous video. It's an old Paratrooper knife, and yes, it's not an original one. And my suspicions were correct. It's a reproduction, which I was expecting for 10 bucks. And I looked at the patent number. Apparently, they're also replicating this patent number, because when you look this patent number up, it's the original patent number. And apparently, they're even replicating that, which don't surprise me. But still, it's a nice piece of my collection. I'm still going to keep it anyway. For $10, I wasn't going to complain. And I took all the rust off of it, got it nice and cleaned. And it works like a charm. Next is on this one I picked up at a flea market. This is that Camillus knife that was in a rough condition. Still kind of is. I cleaned it up the best I could. I sealed this hole up with some wood putty that I made. And now the blade's more clear to read. And I cleaned up the inside, of course, and cleaned up the handles. Cleaned up really nice. This one I'm going to keep for myself as well. It's a Camillus 89 Stockman. Next, I don't know if I've showed this one off or not, but this one is a gift from my father. It's a Boker Switchblade made in Solingen, Germany. These have become quite collectible and even favored by law enforcement, or they used to be anyway. And this particular one I like. It's got pearl handles, even though it's not real pearl. But thank you very much, Dad. This is awesome. I love this thing. And it has a very good snap to it. If this thing wasn't very collectible, I'll probably even carry this, because I used to carry an automatic knife all the time, because it was really handy. Beautiful piece. Next is on this knife that was in a previous lot. This is a Saber Japan Hawkbill. Cleaned up really nice. Those who may remember in the previous video, it was sticking out right here, but I fixed that without a problem, and I cleaned up the handles, cleaned up the back of it, and then cleaned up the blade. Cleaned up really well. And this one I'm going to keep as well, because I don't have one of these, and it looks great in my collection, because I don't have many Hawkbills. And the next is this one that I completely restored. Those who may remember in a previous video, this one did not have a handle on one side. It's a Camillus No. 1 Hawkbill. And what I did is I completely took those handles off, since they were broken anyway, and made some new ones out of some wood, and put it all back together, restored it, refinished it, and sharpened it. Now it's functioning again, and it's ready to be put for sale. So this one is going to be for sale to anybody who wants it. Next is an unusual one my father gave me. It's a folding spoon. No brand, or at least not yet that I haven't cleaned it up. Looks like it may have been part of a set that used to have one pocket knife, one butter knife, and one spoon. So far, there's no brand on it, but I haven't cleaned it up yet, so I can't say that there isn't one. Next is another one my father got for me that I cleaned up. This is an old hammer brand with some nice artwork on it. Didn't look this good when I got it, though. It was in really horrible condition. I completely took it apart and took the handles off gently without damaging them, and then restored all the pieces, and then put it all right back together. Beautiful piece. And I'll definitely look up the patent number and see how old this knife really is. But you can't beat a classic toothpick. Next is on one of the ones from another lot in the previous video. This is a Camco Barlow that was in actually not bad condition. And what I did is I simply took the old pin out and repinned it, and then just resanded it flush, and then repolished the blades and the inside of the handle and the back. So this one's ready to be put for sale as well. So if anybody wants this, it's happily going to be put for sale because I already have one of these in my collection. Next is this one that my father also got me. I also collect Victorinoxes, and this one is a 2-blade Victorinox with someone's brand on it. Again, didn't look this good when I got it. It was a little bit corroded, but I easily cleaned it up and repolished it. That's what I love about these Victorinox knives, is they're so easy to clean up most of the time. Beautiful piece. Thank you very much, Dad. Next is on this Camillus Knife, which is what it was called. Again, I completely cleaned it up, brought it back to the original condition, repolished the bolsters, repolished the spring, and now it's going to go straight in my collection. Beautiful piece. You can't beat a classic. That now, I'm always a sucker for these old bone-handled knives because they're so beautiful once they're cleaned up. Next is on this one that is a USA advertisement made by Imperial. Again, I completely cleaned it up, restored it, put the original handles back on it, and completely cleaned the inside, so now it's a perfectly functional pocket knife. Again, this one will be put for sale to anybody who wants it. Next is this one I just got in. This is an old Camp King. Sadly, the scales are flattened, but I'll have to re-flatten them back out. But this one came from a lot that my father purchased, made by Imperial. But this one I'll definitely clean up and see if I can sell it. If not, then I'll probably strip it for parts. Next is on this old Robinson knife that I cleaned up. Again, I completely cleaned up the blades, cleaned up the scales, cleaned up the inside. And now it's ready to be put for sale for anybody who wants it. Beautiful piece. Next is on the Saber USA Knife. Again, came from a previous lot. Sadly, there is still some pitting, but I was able to get it to a nice condition. Repolish the bolsters, repolish the blades. Again, this one will be put for sale. Last but not least is this little unique knife that was in that previous lot. Again, I completely cleaned it up and repolished it. Got most of the pitting out of the blade, and I cleaned up the plastic. No name, but I like these anyway because I don't have a blue one. I have a red one, and I think a black one, but I don't think I have a blue one. So this one I'm going to keep in my collection. And last but not least is some new knives that I just got in that me and my father did a deal on. So let me show them all off real quick. The reason why they're in this bag is because I set them in evapo-rust overnight and cleaned them off the previous night. So first is this Craftsman USA 9560. Was covered in rust, but my father decided to put it in evapo. So I'll be cleaning this up probably after Christmas. I'm trying to hold off all projects till after Christmas because, like I said, I gotta go, spend time with my family. Next is this old Camillus razor knife, is what I'm going to call this one because that's what it looks like. Again, my father gave this one to me, so I'll clean this one up again after Christmas. Next is a Camco Electrician's Knife, number 229. Great shape. Again, this one's going to be cleaned up. Next is another Camillus Electrician's Knife. Again, will be cleaned up. Next is a modern Camillus one. Again, doesn't need much cleaning. And then an old Imperial camp knife in horrible condition. Again, it'll be cleaned up. And then last but not least is a Camillus Come on, get out of there. A Camillus military knife, 1968 model. Sadly, though, this one has some busted springs, and it's going to need to be cleaned up. So, again, it'll be all done after Christmas, because I'm trying to hold off all projects till after Christmas. But anyway, that's all the stuff I've got to show. Let me know in the comments if you want to see an update on anything else. And I'm mostly holding off most projects on video-wise till after Christmas. I've got one more video I'm going to do, and then I'm going to stop all videos till after Christmas, because, heck, I got to spend time with my family. And I'm waiting on one more package from my good friend Outdoors Addiction, which he said it'll be here late, which I'll be fine with that. So, and another video I'm going to try to do after Christmas is that video I said if y'all voted for a material, I'll make a knife out of it. And that's exactly, I'm still remembering that video. I never forgot about it. So, I guess I'll end the video right here. As always, stay sharp.